Hello beautiful people, we'll be making family size meat pie, and in my bowl I'll add in all-purpose flour. Now add in a teaspoon of baking powder and half teaspoon of salt because I'll be using salted butter, and we'll mix all this in together to combine properly. Here is my butter. To make the most flaky, yummy Nigerian meat pie, 1 kg of flour equals 500 grams of butter or margarine. And here we are using 500 grams of flour, and that equals 250 grams of butter. I'll be cutting it into little chunks so that it will be easy to mix with the flour. I'll add it into the flour. We are going to mix this together, the flour and the butter. We'll mix it to combine till it becomes like breadcrumbs. I'm using salted butter for this because I couldn't find butter that is not salted. What that means is that I'll reduce the salt I added in, and I'll also reduce the salt for my meat pie filling. And here I've gotten it to this state. And I'll add in water. I used 140 ml of water, but you might have to add yours gently so that you don't overdo it. And we will not be needing this at all. We'll just mix it in together to form a dough. No kneading is required for meat pie. If you knead it, it will develop gluten, which will make the dough elastic. But we are looking for a flaky dough. So bring this together, keep bringing it together. Now transfer this to a plain surface so that it can help me bring it together to the shape I want before sending it to the fridge. So we are not kneading this, just trying to form it into a ball so that it will be easier to work with. And we'll be sending this to the fridge afterwards, a very cold fridge, up to 30 minutes to 1 hour. That will help to solidify the butter the more. And my hands, no dough is sticking to my hand. We'll cut this into two. One is slightly bigger than the other because we are using two different measurements. Now round it to a ball shape again. Now cover this with a cling film and we'll send it to the fridge. We'll bring it out in about 30 minutes to 1 hour. And as we wait for the dough in the fridge, I'll be grating some pepper and garlic. I just want this meat pie a little bit spicy. And here it's well grated. And I have onion here. You can chop this with a knife, but I'm using this vegetable cutter for easier work. I scraped off the back of both of them before dicing it. And here is the Irish potatoes and the carrots well diced. In a dry pan on heat, I added in a little vegetable oil, and I brought in the onion when the vegetable oil has heated up, and we're going to stir fry this for about a minute. After a minute, the onion has released its sweetness into the oil, and I'll bring in the minced beef. And we are going to cook this beef for about 10 minutes. We'll be stirring it, and at some point it will release its water. That's still okay. And we'll keep cooking and frying this at the same time. And now I'll add in 2 beef seasoning cubes. I'll also add in salt and curry powder. And we'll mix all this to combine well. The water has dried up and we are frying the beef now. Now bring in the pepper, the garlic and the ginger, and we'll fry all this together. We keep stir frying this for another 3 minutes. And now I brought in the carrots and the Irish potatoes, well diced. And we'll keep mixing this in together. Look at that beautiful color. And I'll add in water. This is half cup of water. This will help the Irish potatoes and the carrots to cook till tender. At Glory HomeMaker will give you value for your time. And we'll cover this pot and cook this for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, this is what it looks like. And we'll stir this. The potatoes and the carrots are quite tender now. And this is the best time to check for your salt and seasoning. Mine came out okay because I use salted butter, so I don't want it to be too salty. If yours need adjustment, please go ahead to adjust either the salt or the seasoning. And I have 1 tablespoon of flour here. I mix it with 1/4 cup of water and I added it in. Now mix this. The work of this flour is that it will help our meat pie filling to be very moist. I'll bring in some spring onions, about 2 sticks of spring onions. Now mix this all together. Look at how yummy looking this is. If you leave me, I can eat this as a standalone. I might not continue with the meat pie recipe, but we'll still have to go ahead. Look at how moist it is. This is so delicious. This tastes so amazing. We are going to set this meat pie filling aside to cool completely. So I will normally set it in the fridge before I finish with the dough. It must be well cooled before you add it into the dough. And back to our dough. I'll gently flour my work surface with a little flour so it doesn't stick. And I'll bring in the little of the dough we saved earlier. I'll also flour my rolling pin. This will help the dough not to stick to the rolling pin. We're going to spread this out. Spread it out in a circular shape as much as you can. For the dough that will be underneath, it has the smaller size. I used 11-inch pot cover to measure this out, and the one that will be up, I used 12-inch pot cover because when you add the fillings to the dough beneath, it has a height already and we need to accommodate that. That's why the dough up will be bigger than the one down. I don't know if what I said made sense, but I hope you understand that. You can use these extra pieces of dough to make smaller portions of meat pies or other pastries. And in my baking pan, I'll rub butter on it. That will also help the dough not to stick when it's coming out from the oven. And I'll transfer the dough to the already buttered pan. And this is the second dough for the up, just like I've explained earlier. And here comes our cooled meat pie filling. We're going to bring it into the lower dough. Please don't overcrowd it. And I'll brush the sides of the dough with egg. This will help to seal it properly. Here comes the bigger dough. We are going to press it gently with our fingers. The egg we applied earlier will help it to stick better so that it doesn't burst in the oven. And with my fork, we'll have to seal it even further. That will also give it a beautiful design. And with the fork also, I'll make holes on the dough. This will help it not to burst in the oven when it's baking. And finally, I'll give this an egg wash. We'll just apply egg with the help of a brush on top of the dough. This will give it that shiny appealing color when it's coming out from the oven. If you don't like eggs, you can use a tablespoon of milk and water and apply it on the dough before sending it to the oven. I will be sending this to a preheated oven. I will be baking at 180 degrees Celsius between 40 to 45 minutes. Mine went up to 45 minutes because I wanted it to be very crusty. Here comes our yummy family size meat pie. You have to put this on the rack to cool for at least 20 minutes before cutting it open. This was extra flaky and extra crusty. So delicious, so delicious. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.